All right, guys, well, let's head out into the mining room. I'll give you guys a quick update on what I have going on in there and how it kind of all works. Shut the swamp cooler off. This entire building is cooled by a giant swamp cooler, and this is a huge building, obviously. But, you know, as long as it doesn't really get like over, you know, 85, 90 in here, which is easy for that thing to keep up with, the miners aren't going to get hot. And also, you know, that swamp cooler doesn't use very much power. I mean, it's wired for 220, and it's a swamp cooler, so it's just running a blower fan and running water from water. So all of our air that goes into the mining room gets filtered through these two filters. These are normal 20 by 30 filters you'd see like in your AC unit in your house in the air handler. Then when we come in here, we have we have our rack. Normally this is full of L3 pluses. I just haven't, I just got everything kind of finished in the main office, and I'm just now starting to bring some miners in, but I wanted to show you guys kind of how this works. So this room is pretty well sealed to where when this rack is full, it's pulling so much air out of the room that it's drawing a ton of air in from up there. That's all getting filtered. And the way I run all the ducting in here is super simple. So this is 6-inch dryer hose, and I'll go ahead and shut these down real quick just so we don't have to yell over them. But essentially, if you run 6-inch dryer hose, you can pop it directly over the fan housing on the back side of the L3 Plus or any of these 120 mil fans, and it fits right over, pops right over. It stays pretty secure. You can also add a hose clamp on the outside of that if you want it a little tighter, a little better sealed. But honestly, the tubing being 6-inch is not giving much back pressure to where it's going to be blowing a bunch out of the front anyway. And then we just drilled 6-inch holes in here, and the tubing just sits in there. And then this is actually a big duct. Let's see if I can get you guys in there. This is a big duct that goes all the way out the side of the building. So, sorry about that. We had a little technical issue. For some reason, the autofocus on the camera got shut off. So, yeah, so basically this is all a big framework on the back with a huge duct, and then this front section on this room, you can just drill 6-inch holes as needed and run your ducting right in there. The ducting literally just pops into the hole and it'll just sit there. And then you can keep all of your plugs. These are the plugs that came out, and you just pop these back in if you want to plug up some of the holes, or if you don't have as many miners in there, just so you don't have air blowing back into the room. But what's cool about this system is you're essentially using the miners as your airflow, so you don't have to cool. You don't have to cool this room because all of the ASICs move so much air. They're drawing so much air into the room. As long as you can get that air out of the room and kind of isolate it to get it out, like putting it in a tube and blowing it out, you're gonna pull fresh air into the room. So this room will constantly be pulling new air into it, so the air inside here will be in an active exchange and won't get hot. And that's just super simple to do. I mean, if you use 6-inch ducting, like I said, you can pop it. It literally pops right over the outside of the fan housings. We have some housings over here, some fans. It just pops directly over the outside and stays on there, and then you can add a hose clamp if you want. There's the round area in between the two flanges where a hose clamp can sit if you really want to kind of secure everything, just so a duct doesn't fall off. The ducts aren't going to fall off on that side. There's more of a chance of them falling out of the wall. But yeah, it works really, really well that way. If you don't use those 4-inch reducer things, those things suck. Plus you end up with back pressure inside the miner, so the fans end up running harder and they're under much more load. And you essentially make a high pressure area because you're trying to restrict the airflow down to a 4-inch tube. If you use a 6-inch tube, it's non-restrictive at all, and it pops right on there. You don't need an adapter, you don't need anything. You pull it right over the fan housing, and then you just duct that out, and it's super nice. We'll swing out here and I'll show you guys the ducting I was talking about. And look at that. My cool office with the bunker in it. Pretty cool. So this is the duct. So the backside where that tubing is coming in is this wall here, and all of that air is getting blown straight out the building. This is obviously covered, that's covered, and the 2 side plates, and there's a wooden framework up there as well as on this wall. So you can essentially run all of your duct work out there, and you don't have to worry about anything really heating up, you know, inside here. Plus this swamp cooler up here, you know, keeps everything really, really cool, and it's blowing directly past the mining room. So, you know, when this thing kicks on, it'll pull nice cool air into there. Also, I can move the thermostat for the swamp cooler into the mining room, so it would essentially just kind of cool if the mining room got hot. So there's a bunch of cool stuff you can do, but it's pretty efficient the way I have the mining room set up, and it should work really, really well. So I'll keep you guys posted. We have some Antminer L7s coming in that are going to be in here, so we'll get those hooked up. I'll walk you guys through setting those up and kind of doing a review on those. I have about 20 L3 pluses here. We've just been doing repairs and rebuilds on them, and I've been selling some of them on eBay just to kind of fund some of the other stuff we're doing, some of the other projects, because right now I'm kind of keeping everything off until the solar is done, just because it's easier, and with the market on the low anyway, it's not, especially in California, it is not ideal to run anything right now if you're having to pay out of pocket over 34 or 36 cents per kilowatt hour now in California. So it's stupid. So you have to have the solar running. I wanted to show you guys how the power is coming into this room also. A lot of you guys like to use PDUs, the little power distribution units with the strips and the special plugs, and obviously it's really cool. I guess for the layman who's kind of not very electrical savvy and they want to know exactly how much wattage is being used, they want to know how much wattage is being used by what, they want to not overload circuits, stuff like that. But for me, I mean, I did all the electrical in here. So we run 50 amp plugs, and then that amount of amperage is good to run pretty much anything you can throw at it. So what I like to use is something really cool that you can get on eBay, and they come out of Texas, but it's essentially a 50 amp plug with a cord, and then there's a junction box, and you have 8 of these 220 volt power cables coming out of it. So you'll have these, and these can go straight into your power supplies. And these just work really, really well. I have 3 of these, and you essentially just you want to run a separate 50 amp plug, 50 amp circuit for each of these, which we haven't ran yet. We've only ran a single one into here just for kind of proof of concept and get some stuff running. But you want to run a separate 50 amp circuit to run each of those, and then what I generally do is, obviously you're going to want to just kind of keep track of your wattage that's total running. If you have like random stuff connected to stuff like that, then yeah, a PDU might be a better way to go. But for me, I mean, I run script mining almost completely exclusively. So I mean, I'm running L3 pluses, which pull 660 watts. They're all tuned to 660, so I know what kind of wattage to expect out of all of them, and they're all connected to the same circuit. So you can run 8 of the L3 pluses on the 660 settings on a single one of these, which is nice. And then, you know, if you're going to run the L7s, obviously you'll have plugs left over, but it's always nice to keep room available in any circuit. So what's really nice about these is you can just use, you know, 4 of them or 5 of them, or it's nice to have an extra one there in case you want to just test something out real quick. You don't have to find a plug to plug into your PDU and check it and then worry about, you know, overloading a breaker. Obviously in this building I have, you know, more of an industrial electrical system, as well as a 400 amp service going in, so it's a little, there's a lot more room for error in here, and since everything is hardwired in, I don't really have to worry about much. If something does happen, it'll just pop the breakers, but you know, maybe down the line I'll add some PDUs, but for now, having everything kind of hardwired into 220 and running separate circuits to run each one of these plugs works out really, really well. Yeah, it's real basic, and then we have obviously our network switch up here, which has a million wires on it, and we can just kind of connect in and run whatever we need to, and then I monitor everything from the room next door. So anytime I plug something new in, I can hop into the room next door where it's not super crazy loud, and that's another advantage of having all the 6-inch ducting going out, is it helps a lot with the noise. You're essentially kind of blowing the sound out also. So it's definitely helpful, but hopefully you guys got something out of this video. I'll keep you guys posted as we add more miners and do more stuff in here and kind of keep track of how the temperatures are. And once I get everything back up and running in the next couple months, we'll get some more data, and I'll show you guys some more cool stuff. But it's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys like it. Corey's Coins LLC. Oh.